So today what you're going to be doing is starting to graph in slope-intercept form. So you should have just completed the decimals warm-up on slope. And now we're going to look at slope-intercept form of a line so that we can graph it. So slope-intercept form is super simple. You have y equals mx plus b, which I'm sure you have seen before. And if not, it's all good. Okay, so y equals mx plus b, you have your y, which is your y in your graph. You have your x, which is your x. You're not going to change them. Y and x are just going to be there the entire time as they are. Your m stands for something very important though. Your m, whatever is in front of that x, okay? And you know what? I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit so that you can see this much bigger. Okay, so let's again circle our M. Our M right here, that stands for your slope. So whatever is in front of that X in your graph always is going to be your slope. Okay, and you're going to need that in order to figure out how to graph a line. So the next part is our B. What is B? Well, B is going to tell us where our y-intercept is. So the way you want to write B is whatever the number is that's out here, you're going to write it as 0, comma B. This is your y-intercept, okay? So whatever that B is would go right here. So for example, if this was 2, your y-intercept would be 0, comma 2, just for example, okay? If your slope was 4x, your slope would be 4 over 1. And remember, it's rise over run. Okay. All right. So moving down to these examples on our notes, I'm going to do 2 graphing examples with you, and then you're going to do the other 2. So looking at this first one, the first thing we want to do is when we're graphing in y equals mx plus b form, and if you notice, I did put the steps up here for you as well. The first thing we're going to want to do is plot the y-intercept, okay, as a point on the y-axis. So you have to identify what your y-intercept and your slope are. Your y-intercept is that b. So this is your y equals mx plus b form of the line, okay? And your b is a positive 1. So remember, we write it as 0, comma b. So we would write this as 0, comma 1. And we would first plot that point on our graph. So starting at the origin, we are at 0 for x, and we're going to go up to 1 for y. So here is our y-intercept plotted. Okay? Just to, show you with using different colors, now we're going to find our slope. Our slope is the m. So 2 is our slope. So we would write this as 2 over 1, and remember it's rise over run. We're going up because our 2 is positive, and we're going right because our 1 is positive. So we would go up 2, so up 2, and over 1, right? Okay, let's do this in a different color. And our second point after we found the slope in green, okay, we're going to connect to these now. Let's connect these. And we have now graphed our line in y-intercept form. Okay, so you're going to follow these steps each time. All right, and if you have to pause it, go ahead. I'm going to move forward to the second example. All right, in this second example, let's first find our y-intercept. We have a negative 4, so we write it as 0, comma, negative 4. Let's plot that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have a negative x, so that means there's a negative 1 out there. So our slope is negative 1 over 1. So we're going to go down 1 and right 1 because our denominator was positive, but our numerator was negative. And we're going to connect our lines. Okay,